I hope you had enough to drink, enough to eat. What we want to do is just tell you a little bit about what Pilot Light is. So, for those of you who shelled out $175 and have no idea why you're here, thank you for that. We are a passionate group of chefs, teachers, kids, principals that are really excited about teaching kids about healthy eating, about knowledge about food, and about how to alter their diets through education, through curriculum. So without further delay, I'd like to introduce you to the next Pilot Light team. Is our VIP, the man who donated the space, the elder most wise man of the group, and the chef of Publican, Avec, Big Star, and any other cool restaurant in Chicago, Mr. Paul Kahad. Come on up, Paul. Come on, don't be shy. He's a little shy. Next up is our secret weapon when it comes to curriculum and lesson plans for the kids. He's an Ivy League grad. He has been doing farm-to-table cuisine before there were farms and before there were tables at the culinary meccas of Nightwood and Lula Cafe. Chef Jason Hemmel. Our Wolverine look-alike. The man with the most intensity. One of the most warmest, caring chefs that I've ever met, with a huge heart, who has Yoshu, Billy Sunday, and soon in Hyde Park, 810, Mr. Matthias Mergis. And last but definitely not least, my friend, the man who holds the key to the velvet rope at Big Star, the culinary operations for the group One Off Hospitality, the man who made all of this possible. Today, without him, we would definitely be nowhere. Woo! It's Justin Large. With us are some very special people also. We have Principal Bogdana here from the Disney 2 school. We have mine and Jason's partner, who we do all the lessons planned with, Ms. Lee. Miss Myra Brown Rivera came along with us. And the solid gold dancers from the Pilot Light School of Kids.
Sorry.
So now we're just going to tell you a little bit about what Pilot Light is and how it got started. So, Paul, why don't you give us a little bit of information of how we got here?
Sure. Well, first of all, I wanted to welcome all you guys and give a huge thanks to my business partners for allowing this to go on here, to my assistant Heather Medina for all her hard work, and to the entire One-Off team and everyone that volunteered here tonight. Thank you very much. Real quickly, I tend to ramble on, but Pilot Light, I think, really started. Matthias was bugging me, calling me, hey, will you meet with me and talk about some things that I want to do at Disney at my kid's school? And I have a tremendous amount of respect for Matthias, both culinarily as a person, and I said, of course. And serendipitously, at the same time, I had just returned from a call to Washington, D.C. from Michelle Obama for her Let's Move campaign, and there was fairly weak representation from the city of Chicago, I'm sorry to say, but there were 7 of us there. Ryan was one of the chefs that was there, I was there, and we really, we spent an 8-hour day in seminars and in classrooms learning about what the Let's Move program was all about, and we kind of afterwards, all the Chicago people met up and were walking down the street scratching our heads trying to figure out what we had just been involved with and did we really take anything away from it. So what I did is I took the initiative when I got home to organize a meeting at the Publican and kind of look at that big beast over there as a community center. We could fit a ton of people in there. So we organized a meeting where all the different school groups around the city could come, and we invited all the chefs in the city. It was a pretty good turnout, but I wanted them to see what was out there so that they can make their own choices and figure out how they wanted to align themselves and with what programs. And really, Matthias and I sat down and we kind of decided that we didn't want to align ourselves with any of those programs. Our idea was a little bit different, and from the main standpoint that what we want to do is rooted in curriculum. And it's something that we think can start on a very small scale in one school and expand into the entire Chicago public school system and truly make a huge difference across our city.
Great. So by making a huge difference. The difference between Pilot Light is that we are not teaching kids how to cook. We're actually going through the curriculum. And Jason and I have done many demonstrations for the kids. So Jason, why don't you tell us a little bit about some of the demos that we do and how we come up with the lesson plans?
So a lot of you tonight have asked me, what do you guys do? Like, what is this? And
actually, I asked that.
You asked. This is what we do. We show up at Disney 2 in classrooms and teach for an hour. And we don't just teach whatever we want to teach. We don't teach cooking classes. We don't teach, how to make the perfect hamburger. We teach a lesson based on what we understand the kids are learning in that week of their school. So if they're learning about photosynthesis, if they're learning about plate tectonics, if they're learning about culture or the civil rights movement, we craft a lesson that matches with whatever they're learning. So we reinforce their learning, we expand it, we deepen it, and we look at it through the lens of food and food culture and just thinking about the table and like what it means to be, eating humans who need to eat to live. And in doing that, we teach them how to think, how to make great choices for themselves, and how to be excited about food in general. So we've taught so many great classes, and one that I know Paul and Justin did was called Noodles through to Neighborhoods. So you're looking at different neighborhoods in Chicago, all about through their noodles and what types of noodles they might eat there. Ryan and I have had the pleasure of having to do courses on magnets and on civil rights. And the civil rights class was, if you can imagine this, we did a civil rights class around food deserts. So we did some maps of the city. We looked at where food deserts were, and then we asked the question to these children: is access, fifth graders, is access to healthy food, should it be considered a civil right? And we actually had a deep and an interesting conversation about that in class. One that was, the conversation was like bursting at the seams, like you can't fit it in the hour. And then when we're done with our class, what we do with our lesson is then we go to the lunchroom and we feed the children a healthy lunch that is meant to reinforce whatever they've learned in class. So if they've learned about corn, we'll do something with cornmeal in it. And this way they're sort of reinforcing their knowledge and getting a deeper experience than they might have had, would have had otherwise. That's what we do. It's deep, it's real, it's good work, and it's going to continue. It's about chefs doing creative, interesting work with teachers. We meet with the teachers, we learn what they're doing, and we develop it. And what we're doing now, tonight, is moving towards the future, which I think Matthias has some things to say about.
So this is like one step, all of you here to help us like go to the next level. When we first started, we were hungry chefs that get into the school and teach, and we're like, we're gonna go to every single school in this city and we're gonna teach every single kid. And we're like, wait a minute, there's only 20 of us. And there's like 500 schools. And then we decided like, there's no way that's gonna happen. So right then we met our first hurdle, like how can we scale up and be able to touch every child, because that's like our goal. Every kid needs to have access to what we do. So what we're doing in the future, what we're trying to do now is first get an executive director to bring us all together and have a clear path of what we're doing. And then we're going to develop a virtual library of all the taped and videotaped lesson plans that we have that teachers and educators can access from the outside and bring back to their classroom. And that Pilot Light will become an instrument for professional development to help facilitate what our lessons are and how to just be more involved with CPS and beyond in a larger kind of scale. So that's kind of like our goal, and that's why I think that you're all here today, and with your help we can attain that goal. So you know what you got to do, okay? So get out the wallets, let's go.
To touch on what Matthias said, it was extremely overwhelming when we said that there's only 20 of us, and some of the people who help is Miss Lee. Why don't you come on up here for a second? Miss Lee and I, Jason and I, have been working on all kinds of curriculum. So what are the kids saying? Do we have street cred or no?
They love them to the point where I'm a little bit jealous, where they totally disregard me as the classroom teacher. They don't listen to me, and they only all eyes are on the chefs. But from a teacher's perspective, it's an amazing opportunity for us to get creative and really kind of give to the students an opportunity to learn about something that they probably wouldn't get from a regular classroom day, and to have a perspective of, for example, we did the civil rights unit, and to have talking about food deserts, it's challenging to bring that to a group of students who have all different walks of life, but to bring it into the food and giving the opportunity for them to talk about it is an amazing experience.
So let's bring them up here. What do the kids got to say? You're a solid gold dancer.
So, can you tell me how Pilot Light impacts you and your kids? Or your classmates?
Okay, so when Pilot Light comes to my class, all the kids are excited and they're hands-on and they all get involved, and we don't just lecture at, but we actually participate.
So it's not boring, no?
Yes, it is not boring. We actually participate in making the food, and we learn about, like what they said, what we're learning in school, and it really helps.
Can you two tell me what you've learned?
What did you
Just
learn?
a few of the things.
Please say
I know
something.
there are so
Please
many.
say something.
I learned about what food was like back then, like popular foods, and how different it was from today, mostly in the calorie count. Like, everything is so, it has a lot of calories in it. So,
We did a unit on nutrition in 3rd grade.
One thing I learned, and I think this was maybe even 2nd grade, but we learned we compared how hamburgers were made, say 100 years ago, if they even had hamburgers back then, to how they're made today, and the process of how they were made was incredible. I was just mind blown. It took like a month to get all the meat, to make the mustard, to get those onions farmed and grown, and then you had to bake the bread, and then so on and so on.
And nothing's changed, actually. It's still...
No, but now you have like the cows back then. They just kind of roamed around. Now they're all cramped up in small spaces, and it was really amazing to learn about that, because it really makes you more aware of kind of I guess how different foods are made. And really, I mean, I've never really supported fast food restaurants, but it really almost annoyed me that people can do that to other people and put that kind of food into their bodies.
So that's our presentation. There's plenty of food and drinks to go around, so please stick around. And just one final note to finish up is that we're new. We're trying to start this out. We started grassroots. Every dollar tonight that you spend, every dollar tonight that you have on the silent auction, it all goes to the cause. 100% of everything has been donated, from the tent, from the food, to people's times, to the DJ. So everything helps. Don't forget about the silent auction, live auction. Live auction's going to start in about 40 minutes, and I can't even tell you the things that we have in line. And I didn't want to tell you what Paul did to get Patrick Sharp's jersey, but he camped out in front of his house for like at least a week. So stick around. Live auction, really insane, one-of-a-kind items. And thank you from all of us at Pilot Light, from the kids, from the parents to the teachers. Thank you so much for coming. Let's have a great time.